Hello, it's Veronica and Naomi. I'm sure anyone who follows Monster High and Ever After High knows that they are sister lines. But they are more than just sister lines. They exist in two different dimensions in the same universe that we like to refer to as the Monster High Multiverse. This is shown by various pieces of evidence throughout a lot of the Monster High movies and also in Ever After High, and especially in their shows. So in Monster High Booyark, Astronova, an alien, is seen FaceTiming Applewhite and Raven Queen from Ever After High while in the Monster High universe. And then you've got the fact that the evil queen's magic mirror from Ever After High is seen in the Monster High attic of all places in 13 Wishes. And there is also a scene in Ever After High Dragon Games where Maddie Hatter, who is the daughter of the Mad Hatter, references or ponders about there being a school for monsters. And it's a very specific reference to Monster High. And it's definitely a way for that universe to acknowledge Monster High's existence, because Maddie Hatter specifically can break the fourth wall. It's one of the things with her character that is unique for her. But she's a character capable of breaking the fourth wall. But what really sets this theory in stone are the Monster High and Ever After High webisodes, where C.A. Cupid transfers from Monster High to Ever After High via a mirror portal. Yeah, there are 2 episodes, one in each show, where it shows her entering C.A. Cupid, daughter of Cupid, in her monster form, entering a mirror. And then coming out on the other side, it shows that in the Ever After High show, and her form in Ever After High is completely different. In Monster High, she's a bony, winged, kind of goth-looking angel-type monster, because she's the daughter of Cupid from Greek mythology. But then in Ever After High, she's portrayed as like a literal angel with like golden wings, more like Greek-inspired elements, and like she's just so pretty in her design in that universe. But yeah, she changes form when entering and exiting that portal. So that really shows that these universes are interconnected with one another. There is travel between them. Students can transfer schools between them. Then we like to imagine there's other lines, like maybe Enchantimals being a part of the Ever After High universe because of the connections between those dolls and their direct inspiration from the Ever After High Forest Pixies, and really not much else. So basically, we just think Enchantimals are forest pixies, or ancestors, or relatives of them. Or even like just cousins of the forest pixies or something. The way Enchantimals fits into this is definitely unusual because it's only really connected to Ever After High. As for DC Supergirls, we also theorize that one could have connections to Monster High and Ever After High due to coming out at a similar time to it, and also being another female-centric high school-themed doll line. So what are we getting to here? Yeah, we know Monster High and Ever After High are in the same universe. There's a big Monster High multiverse connecting all these Mattel doll lines. How is this relevant? And more specifically, how does Shadow High and a multitude of Monster High generations fit into this idea? So for Shadow High, we theorize that it's connected in the fanfiction alternate universe because there was a novel that was released years before Shadow High ever existed. It was a crossover novel. Its title was The Legend of Shadow High. It was more specifically a crossover between Monster High and Ever After High. And we have not read this novel. We haven't. And we know of its existence. But if this novel hints at the existence of other dimensions where Ever After High and Monster High characters could coexist without changing forms, without having any weird kind of stuff going on with that, it raises a very interesting idea about this whole multiverse. And in the fanfiction AU, what if Mattel and MGA were portrayed as deities of creation and destruction, who could create and destroy any doll universe at will? So we're talking when a doll line gets rebooted, all the characters lose their memories and change forms or poof out of existence, whether they're included in it or not. Or if a doll line is canceled, it's just poofed out of existence. You can no longer travel there via the mirror portal system, and it's just gone. Which is what happened Ever After High in our fanfiction, AU. Yeah, the Ever After High chapter was extremely depressing to write because of how dark its subject matter was, but it was a very interesting one to write. So if these gods can create and destroy different dimensions in their doll multiverses, what happened to Shadow High, originally the Mattel one? We theorized in the fanfiction that Mattel abandoned it, and then the MG gods swooped in, claimed it as their own, altered it, and integrated it into the Rainbow High universe. So that the only connection between Rainbow High's universe and Monster High's multiverse is that relic of a mirror portal that requires energy from a foreign universe to even activate in the Shadow High attic. We know the mirror is not canon to the official show, but the mirror portal is very significant to this fanfiction. Because first of all, it has a lot of Monster High and Ever After High imagery and symbolism on it. Because it was originally a part of that multiverse. It was from a whole different universe. So of course no one at Shadow High recognizes this thing. No one at Shadow High knows why it exists in the fanfiction. It's really that mysterious because it literally is something from a whole nother universe. And something else that we're going to explain is Demi's role in the story. We could have just had Demi as one of our friends, but we noticed something about her right from the get-go. If you give her black eyelashes and pink eyes, she looks just like Elizabeth from Monster High in her phenotype, her style, and her color scheme. Especially if you take her hair down. And if you really look at her like Monster High references, like the safety pin earrings and the pigtails, the only other character who wears safety pin earrings and pigtails is Draculaura from Monster High Generation 1, who is Elizabeth's canon cousin. So that was just shocking. And then you also consider what Elizabeth's species was. She is literally a vampire. And I know my throat hurts a bit, so if she can't talk as clearly, we're so sorry, but she just want to get this out. But yeah. And who else dresses like a vampire and is obsessed with vampire movies? And Elizabeth was an actress in the Freeze Camera Action movie. And just guess who dresses like a vampire and is a film focus and is obsessed with old vampire movies? Demi is. Her canon eerily lines up with Elizabeth's canon, almost as if they were the same person. So we thought, let's make them the same person in this alternate universe. So you know how like someone's form changes depending on the dimension they are in? We like to imagine that Demi's form changed after she escaped through the mirror portal system to Shadow High and ended up stuck there with most of her memories gone because of the Monster High reboot of 2016. And she was not included in Monster High Generation 2, so she would have been poofed out of existence if she didn't make it into that abandoned dimension at that time. And we'd like to imagine that she was there when the MJ gods modified it and everybody in it. So therefore she got changed into something, into a combination of like herself and Demi Batista. She has both identities in this AU. Because this is her changed form for this dimension. And she is still a vampire, interestingly enough. So, like, she literally has to hide out in the Shadow High School for decades, coming up with a fake identity of Demi Batista so that people don't learn about her past, don't learn about where she's from. Except for Heather, because Heather figures it out right away because her grandfather has a VHS tape of one of the movies that Demi was in and brought with her whenever she hid in the Shadow High dimension. Like, and then there's also this really bizarre incident where the mirror portal is weirdly active around Demi. Like it has a soul in it. Like it doesn't respond to anybody else except for her. So she can like see, so there's this one part where she sees a black and white image of herself reflected in the mirror as she appeared in her old black and white movies back in the Monster High dimension. And like, so the reason for this is because Draculaura from a pocket dimension in the Monster High Generation 3 dimension that like leads back to Generation 1 dimension, or a copy of it, is calling out to her cousin. She wants Elizabeth back. And So Demi's hearing this. She wants to reactivate this portal, but as there's no source for monster energy, which is like a plasma-like substance, is also kind of like magic in the AU. She literally needs that Storm Twins' help funding the project. She literally needs us to help her purchase these super expensive crystals with this very rare source of energy that, like, no one knows how it got into the Shadow High, Rainbow High dimension. But the crystals are the only way to get the portal up and working, so she could go back to Monster High. And it really is kind of interesting what she finds there. So with Monster High, with the Monster High multiverse, the difference between the main Monster High dimension and the Monster High pocket dimensions that would likely contain Generation 2 and Generation 1 separately is that the main one is ever evolving, it is ever changing, it is ever rebooting. So it's currently stuck in its Generation 3 phase. We know this whole AU really does not make the most sense, but we really wanted to talk about it because it was something that we just kind of came up with, kind of inspired by. Well, that was the Monster High half of it explained, how the Monster High part of that portal system works. And yes, Demi does have to perform a really complicated ritual and give up her memories just to go back to Gen 1, Monster High. She literally has to sacrifice things to get back into that dimension, to go back to her old self completely. Which is very much a tragic fate in the story, but had to happen. Well, mysterious audience, that was our video talking about our ideas on how the Monster High multiverse works and how our fan fiction is connected to these ideas. So goodbye, mysterious audience. I love you. Naomi loves you. And that was our little theory video. We hope you like it.